Hi friends, and welcome to my pretend cooking show. Today we are making your basic white bread. Super easy, super simple. You just need flour, water, salt, and yeast. So there you go. And if you don't have yeast, that's okay. You can make a flat bread. Bread is bread. So let's get started. Okay, so first what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your 650 milliliters of TEMPID water. So if you were to measure the temperature, it would be 40 degrees Celsius or 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're gonna go ahead and pour that into your large mixing bowl. And then it calls for 2 packages of yeast. So if you don't have packages, that's fine. It's gonna be 4 teaspoons. Oh, I should probably. 4 teaspoons and a half. Just like so. And then you're just gonna give it a nice stir. And you want the bubbles. Now the bubbles are the carbon monoxide in your yeast, and that's what makes your bread nice and spongy, and you get those nice air pockets. So you're gonna give it a quick stir, and then you're gonna let that sit for about 5 minutes just for more bubbles to form. Okay, so just set that away for 5 minutes. Okay, so once your yeast has sat for about 5 minutes, you'll start to see that there's some bubbles, and that means it's ready to go for the next step. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add most of our kilo or 8 cups of flour. So I'm gonna leave a little bit still in the bowl. And then we're gonna add our pinch of salt. And then we're gonna take our fork and we're just gonna start to mix this all together. And we're gonna mix it until it's nice and sticky. Okay, so once it's all mixed off there, you should be able to clean your bowl. Now I think this might be, I'm gonna add just a little bit more flour. A little bit more, mix it up, it's still just a little bit too sticky. But you should be able to clean the sides of your bowl with the dough. So, nice and sticky there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out. I'm gonna flour my counter. We're gonna take it out. We're gonna put it down just like so. Okay, so once the dough is on the counter, we're gonna take a little bit more of the flour. I'm just gonna sprinkle it on the top. And we're just gonna knead it a couple times. Nice. You want it to be nice and smooth. So you can go ahead, you can pull it, stretch it, whatever you want. Add a bit more flour. And as you're kneading it, you can start to feel the yeast working because the dough is getting warm. Okay, so once you've kneaded the dough, you can go ahead and we're just gonna shape it into a ball here. Okay, so once we have our dough here, we're now gonna put it into a large bowl because this is gonna double in size. So you're gonna put it in our large bowl, and then we are gonna cover it with a damp towel. So I just put this under the sink, wring it out, and now you're gonna cover it and you're gonna let it rest for an hour. Okay, so we'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, so it's been an hour, and look, our dough is huge. So what we're gonna do is we have to knock it back. So to knock it back, what you wanna do is you just wanna punch in the dough and let all that air out. Now this is so satisfying. Like I don't know any other thing to compare it to, but it just feels so good. So let's do it. Okay, so I want you to get the full effect of me knocking back this bread. Okay, so just take your fist, I'm just gonna punch it in, and it's just gonna sink and it's gonna collapse. And that is exactly what you want. So good. So now what we want to do is we just need to flour our counter a little bit, and we're gonna take out our dough. Now it should just come right out of the bowl, nice and clean. And then again, we're just gonna knead it a couple times. And then now what we wanna do is we wanna cut it in half because we're gonna make 2 loaves. Okay, so we're gonna cut it just like so. You can see all these like holes and stuff inside the dough. Now that is what makes the bread so spongy and you get that soft air in there. Like that is exactly what you want to see when you slice your dough. Okay. So now that we've got our 2 halves here, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna set one just to the side there. And then now we're just gonna shape this dough into the shape and size that we want. So this one, I'm actually gonna put it into a bread pan. So it'll be a nice firm loaf. So what I've done is I've just lightly floured the bottom of the bread pan here. Just need a little more flour on the counter. Just for this, just because I want to make it around the same length as the bread pan. So when I go to put it in and it rises to the size of the pan. Okay, so just gonna put that in there, firm it into all the corners and stuff, just like so. And then this is gonna proof for another hour. Okay, and then same with the other one. I just sprinkled some flour onto my sheet. And then again, this one, we want it to be kind of more of like, I want to say like a baguette loaf kind of style. So this one, we're gonna kind of work it and stretch it so it's a little bit longer. Make your loaf any shape, any size that you want. There's no right, wrong, yes or no. So then we'll take this, and just put it like so. Now they will expand and rise a little bit. So this one, it'll probably get a little bit bigger and it'll probably touch the ends of the baking sheet here, which is fine. Okay, so then these are both gonna sit for an hour before we bake them. Okay, so now that our bread has been sitting for about an hour, it has doubled in size. So now they're ready to go into the oven that's set at 355 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes until they get a nice crust forming on them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop them in the oven. Okay, so these are our 2 loaves here. They've been cooling for a little bit since they came out of the oven. So let's go ahead and cut ourselves a piece here. Do that crust there on the bottom. Put a little butter on there. So good. Show you the inside there. There we go. Look at that. Nice fluffy bread. Enjoy, friends. Until next time. See you later.